Yes, people, welcome back to Thai Sports. Another video live and direct from Spain. I did a video the other day explaining that Eberechi Eze was so close to joining Tottenham Hotspur. Well, it now looks like that deal is going to get done. Whether it's in time to play Manchester City or not, I do not know. But one thing that is guaranteed, the deal will get done. And Tottenham, I'm sorry, but I have to say that, you're having one of the best windows you could probably imagine right now. Kudus and Eze coming in terms of changing that attacking department, the depth, the quality, the Premier League experience. You've lifted it up a notch. Just like my team, Manchester United, have in terms of going to get Cunha and Bumo. You guys now getting Kudus and Eze. It just lifts it up a notch. And you still might not be done there. There are other players you're potentially linked with or potentially trying to bring in. But Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, in terms of going out and getting players that you want to come into the club and make an instant impact, those two there are top signings. And yeah, there would have been other windows that you brought in 5, maybe 6, 7 players or whatever. And you're like, okay, do you know what? That is a better window. I understand that. But in terms of, you said, right, you could bring in 2 players in this transfer window, and those 2 are Kudus and Eberechi Eze, you would have bit my hand off. And it now looks like Spurs are going to get their players. And, coming off the back of a convincing victory against Burnley like that in the first game of the season, well, that's only going to give you guys confidence that you could now push on and potentially try and challenge for these Champions League spots. Because you are in the Champions League already this season. Let's respect that, first of all. You're in the Champions League this season. You won the Europa League. You beat my team, Man United. And that's probably given you another extra layer on top of, why players should come to you. Yeah, it's a great stadium. Yeah, you've got Thomas Frank, who's a very good man manager. But you're in the Champions League and you can offer, the best tournament football in the world. And why would players like Mohamed Kudus and Eberechi Eze not want to go to a football club like Tottenham right now? And you know what? When I look at Tottenham signings over recent years, obviously you signed Christian Romero, you've had Van der Ven, you've had Jed Spence, Kulusevski, Dominic Solanke, Kudus, Bentancur, Basuma. If I just throw out some of them names there off the top of my head, when I look at Eberechi Eze coming into Tottenham, I think he might be the best signing out of everyone you signed in the last 3-4 years. I think this could be the best signing Tottenham make in the last 3-4 seasons. Everything about Eberechi Eze screams, modern day footballer, can play on the left-hand side, can play in the 10, can score goals, can create, England international, World Cup year, staying fit now after recovering from injury. It ticks every single box of what you want in a Premier League player, but it also ticks every single box of what Tottenham needs. Tottenham have been crying out for someone that can play in the pockets because James Maddison is now injured. They can't rely on him to be back and rush him to be back in February, March, or wherever it is next year. Kulusevski, another player that we know is very quality. He's top quality, but he's injury prone. And then you look at the other players around it. You've got Odebert, you've got Brennan Johnson, you've got Lucas Bergvall that can sometimes play in advanced areas. Richarlison, of course, can play in behind the striker on the left. But you're just lacking that edge, that person that you're looking at every week in the starting 11. You're saying, right, when you see that Spurs 11 drop, before games on Saturday or Sunday, you know that you're like, right, this player's in it, this player's in it, this player's in it, this player's in it. Right now, you look at Van der Ven, you look at Romero, you look at Kudus, probably Solanke when he's fully fit, Pedro Porro, Vicario. So you've got probably nailed on 6 starters if you guys agree that are watching right now. Make sure you do smash a like and subscribe, by the way, for this great football content. Should I say myself? But when you look at Eze now going to Spurs, he is guaranteed starts every big game. The only games Eze won't start is when they're playing at home against teams that they maybe should be, and they've got a big Champions League game coming up on the Tuesday or Wednesday, and he's been rested or rotated for that. Other than that, Eberechi Eze is a guaranteed starter for Spurs. And that is what you want when you're signing big players for 60 million. Do they come in and change the dynamic of the team? Yes. Do they come in and give guaranteed starts? Are they proven? Yes, Eze ticks all them boxes. we've seen him in the Premier League now for a couple of years, and we can see that his levels have been increasing. He's been due a move to a top club. And, it just suits with Tottenham, where they can now operate with him in a number 10 role. Bergvall, Bentancur, Basuma, Pape Sarr, they can now battle it out for the spots behind him. If they want to play a bit more okay, Eze can go on the left wing. And then they can have someone else in the middle. If they want to say more play midfielders, Bergvall could play Bentancur, Pape Sarr, and Eze. And you got a bit more compact, a bit more rigid. But this is what it gives Tottenham now. Great versatility, great depth. That Eze can play off the left and play in the 10 role. Personally, if it's me, I would put Eze straight into that number 10 role at Tottenham because, boy, if you look at the players around him, they should all be elevating their game now with him because Eze can play a pass. He can ball carry. He opens up space for others. So let's look at the jigsaw right now that Tottenham are building. You've got Dominic Solanke up top when fully fit, right? Dominic Solanke can run the channels, can score goals. I've seen him score over 17 or to 20 goals for Bournemouth in that season last year. We look at it now with Dominic Solanke. Get him fully fit. Him and Eze can have a perfect combination. He can run in behind. He allows Eze to push forward, to show that depth in terms of his running game. You then look at it on the flip side, and then you've got Mohamed Kudus on the right-hand side. Now, Kudus and Eze could really, really be linking up in close proximity together, looking strong, giving goals, little 1-2s, a bit similar to how Odegaard and Saka operate on that right side for Arsenal. Kudus wants to play as a right winger. He said that. He embraces 1v1 situations with defenders. He wants to take them on. He wants to attack them. He wants to drive on them. Eze can get him the ball in great areas to allow him to do that. So now you've got Kudus, who's a mainstay on that right-hand side. You can lock him in because now Thomas Frank doesn't have to deliberate about where should I play Kudus. No, he is your right winger now. That is sorted. That is sorted. Beans and toast. You know what you're getting every week. Then you've got Eze next to him in the 10 role. And then on the left, you've now got the options of playing Odegaard, Brennan Johnson, because what it does, it gives you balance because you've got a technical player in Kudus. You've got a number 10 player there in Eberechi Eze. And then you've got the pace outlet in terms of Odegaard, Brennan Johnson to stretch the pitch, running behind, give you something different in your attack. And then you've got a striker like Solanke who can do a bit of everything. It just works now. And if you're Tottenham and you look at it, sorry guys, I'm making this video in 40-degree heat. If you look at it, guys, Tottenham now should be having aspirations of, right, we don't just want to be in the Champions League this season. We want to carry on, keeping on cooking and getting into the Champions League next season. Because that's why you sign these players. You don't sign these players just to see how you get on. You're signing these players with the belief and you're giving them the ambition of, right, this is where we want to be with this manager. These are the type of players you're going to be playing with. We're signing you because of this. And next year, we then want to do this. It's like going to a job, any working place. You want to see what the signs of progression are. What did the company plan to do in the next 2-3 years? Why do they want me? It's got to be a bit of give and take. And with Eze, Kudus coming in, Solanke back from injury, Bergvall, Bentancur, Basuma, Pape Sarr, Yao Polina. I even forget that he's joined there coming off the bench on the weekend. Spurs are now building a team ready to compete in Europe and in the Premier League. And for once, I have to look at Tottenham and say, do you know what, guys? Take them seriously. Take them seriously. Yes, we call them bottom job Spurs. We can't do that no more. They've won Europa League. They've won more trophies than Arsenal in the last few years. But when you look at Tottenham, you always feel like they're going to crumble. They're gonna decimate or something's gonna go wrong. I'm now looking at this team, and with Eze confirmed here by Ben Jacobs, Tottenham have reached an agreement in principle with Crystal Palace to sign Eze. Then boy, they are building a very, very good 11. And look, it's now just up to Palace to find a replacement. I know the link to players like Bilal El Khanous from Leicester. They want the Club Brugge midfielder. I think it's Christophe Toloi. And they're going to bid over 40 million for him. But obviously, it looks like Crystal Palace need to now go out and get their replacement because it looks like with 12, 13 days after the transfer window, Tottenham are going to get their man. And now we can see if Tottenham can really compete, beat some of the top 6 teams, and kick on in the domestic trophies and in Europe trying to qualify for the knockout rounds, which hopefully they should be doing if they're getting the team that they should be having. So this is going to be so interesting. Eze to Tottenham looks almost like a done deal. Big news coming out of London there from Ben Jacobs. And let's see what happens. But for me, Eze is the perfect signing. And in fact, the best signing maybe in the last 3-4 years or under the ENIC regime. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, get your comments in. Let me know your thoughts, Spurs fans or football fans. And I'll see you very soon.